Hey guys, it's your boy here, Manny. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to DFS Zone. This is your source for daily fantasy sports lineups for the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. And before I go any further with the video, guys, I would appreciate a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. This way you do not miss any of my new uploads. Today is March the 23rd, 2018. And it's Friday. And we have a 10-game slate. And before I go any further into the actual video, guys, last night recap. I don't got much to recap. I had about 16 lineups. I had about 11 of them with Mr. Schroeder in them, and I just totally got screwed. So I mean, it's about the 9th time this year that's happened throughout the whole NBA season. I'm sure a number of you out there are gonna feel the same way as me. A number of you out there probably are livid with last night as well. It's just, this is DFS, unfortunately, until they make changes on this stuff and not locking out the games, and giving us a chance to make changes is the only way that this is going to obviously get rectified, and people will not be losing out on money. The only thing we can do as fans and as players is to be able to, obviously complain and make fusses and put things out there on the internet to let these companies know that maybe we need to change some things, and maybe even the NBA may need to change some things, like the stuff about coaches just sitting guys out at the last moment, when knowing that people out there playing daily fantasy sports, and they're putting a large amount. Me personally, I don't put a lot of money. I'm not a shark. I'm not out there putting thousands of dollars a night on these lineups, but there are sharks out there that are utilizing a lot of their money because they're capable of doing it. And even though they're bigger and they're using a lot more money, it's no different than myself using $50, $60, or $100 a night. I mean, it's gonna, it still affects us, and it still affects us in every way. So it's a disappointment, but anyway, I'm not gonna go crazy about this. For you guys out there, obviously, if you've been playing long enough, this is the way it is, and we just gotta shake it off and just think positive, and then look into the new slate and the new day. And today is a new day and a new slate. Recapping last night, so like I said, I had Mr. Schroeder. I had a lot of lineups. I didn't cash anywhere last night. In the 15, 16 lineups I did, I think my best score was a 301, and obviously it wasn't sufficient to win anything. I'm not going to go and show you that. I think you guys have seen enough of my videos to know that I'm not afraid to show that. I just figured let me just cut through that and just basically just recap the stud 5 that I gave you yesterday, which was Rubio, Buddy Hield, Terron Prince, Julius Randle, and Dwayne Dedmon. 3 out of the 5 did have decent games. I think 2 guys didn't do as well. 1 guy obviously did not stand out at all, and which is a surprise. You figured he was going to just go off last night, and that was Mr. Prince, and he did not. He put up a 20.8, 3 field goals, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 3-pointer. It was just horrible. Other than that, Mr. Buddy Hield definitely did not meet value either. He was definitely a downer too. 25 fantasy points. He had 7 field goals, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 3-pointers. It was just not enough production. Rubio, fine game, 42.5, 8 field goals, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals. That was awesome. 4 3-pointers. He did have 5 turnovers, which is not good. I mean, we lose out 5 points there. He should have had a 47.5. Mr. Randle did his thing. He put up 39. He had 9 field goals, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. He had 5 free throws. He's been, I mean, the guy is just an animal, man. 39. I'm happy with that. Dedmon, just above value, not bad for Dedmon. 30 points, 4 field goals, 10 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, and 1 3-pointer. And basically that was the 5 from last night. Of course, again, I apologize. 2 guys just did not come through. I had them in a few lineups. They were my core, but I didn't use them on every single lineup. But again, I thought that those are the best 5 plays. And of course, like I have been doing as of late, I've actually been sharing with you guys, other possible plays within the positions. So I mean, let's just dive into today's 5 picks. I'm basically going to go over each position for a few moments, let you know a couple of plays, some people I'm thinking about, or whom you may be thinking to play tonight. I think the Westbrook is in play tonight, 11,400 on Fanduel. It's pretty hefty. He's playing against Miami. The only problem is Miami is a very good defending team in almost every phase of the game. You know, from point all the way through center, they rank up there pretty high. So it may be a difficult game for Russell Westbrook. I personally, in my opinion, am not on Westbrook, but I think because of who he is, he's capable of exploding any given night. So even with a good defense, you never know. But me personally, 11,400. I think there's other opportunities out there better than Westbrook. The next one will be Mr. Curry. Curry is in a good position here, playing Atlanta at home, and he has to step up his game entirely in his first game back to give Golden State the best chance to win. They have no Clay, of course. They still have KD out, and Mr. Green is not playing tonight. So I see this is a great opportunity for Curry. He's going to get a lot more minutes on the floor. He's going to get more floor time. The more time he's on the floor, obviously, the better chance he has of scoring. You know he's going to take up a lot of shots. He normally does, but he's going to need to take even more so tonight. There are a couple other guys on this team today that can help out. I still think that you know, I'll get into the shooting guard and power forward as two other areas. I think the Golden State, and there are some good plays there with Golden State today. But Steph Curry definitely is someone that I'm considering in a few of my lineups today, just simply because of the situation that Golden State is in, and he's going to have to, you know, step up his game. Damian Lillard playing a good game at home against Boston. Boston is another good defensive team. But Lillard, he's fantastic at home. He's actually had 2 40-plus games over Boston in the last 2 times he has faced Boston. So I think he's capable of putting up 40 to 45 easy again tonight. He's going to need to do that at 9,300 to pay off that value. But I think that he has a possibility of doing that tonight. He's going to get fired up. He loves playing against the best possible teams, and I believe this is a day that he can definitely do that. Am I going to actually play him? I'm not too sure, but he is definitely an option for you guys out there. Kyle Lowry at home against Brooklyn. Brooklyn is the worst team defending against the point guard position. So I mean, in fantasy points as well as in fantasy points per minute, they're nearly dead last. So he's in a very good spot here. The only thing about this game is that, you know, there's the potential of it being blown out. 2 games back, the last 2 meetings against Brooklyn, they did have an overtime game, but the previous game was a blowout. They won by, I think, 16 or something like that. So there's always that potential of a blowout. So I'm not too high on this game, simply because I'm a little fearful. With a 10-game slate, you can find better matchups. He's in a good matchup against Brooklyn to really light it up, and I think he's still going to do that. But this game is probably not going to be a close game. It's going to probably be a blowout, and in my opinion, and I am weary of playing anybody that's in a blowout situation where there's probably more competitive games you could get value in. Eric Bledsoe against Chicago, good spot too. There's no Giannis, I believe, tonight playing, so yeah, he's definitely out, and he's in a good spot. He's going to get more floor time. He's going to get more shots. Him and Middleton should definitely do some work. I mean, out of the other guys other than Giannis from Milwaukee tonight against Chicago, the only thing is this is another game that could be a possible blowout. But I see Bledsoe as a good play here. If you're interested in the players in Milwaukee, I think you can even stack the guys, but I think that'll be a bit much. Or you can do Bledsoe or Middleton, or you can do Bledsoe with Jabari Parker, or you could do Middleton and Parker, or just choose one of the 3. Out of the 3, I would say the best bet is to go with Parker, simply because even if it's a blowout, Parker more than likely may still get some play time now that he's up to that 28-30 minute range. With Giannis out, I could see Parker and maybe Middleton or Bledsoe either getting more time on the floor. So any of the 3 will be good fits tonight. The only the problem is if you decide to stack 2 of them, it might be a bit much because the game may be a blowout. So I'm not too. I like Bledsoe. I probably would favor more playing Middleton or Jabari Parker or both of those other 2 guys in this game if I wanted to use anybody from the Milwaukee from this game between Milwaukee and Chicago. I do have one of my studs of the day today is coming out of this point guard position, and I'm actually going with the guy that I got burned with last night. I like Mr. Schroeder tonight against Golden State. So I'm going to pencil him in. It says here game time decision, but I mean, the guy rested yesterday. He screwed me and he screwed a bunch of thousands of others of making some money last night. So I expect him to have a big game, especially, you know, that you have a couple of guys hurting Golden State. And not only that, they will need Schroeder to perform well tonight if they're going to actually be in this game. So with him well rested, I think he's in the best possible situation. Not only that, Golden State is 22nd in the league against fantasy points allowed by the point, and they're 25th in field and fantasy points per minute, and they're dead last in 3-pointers. As far as defending the points, the point guards in 3-point range, they're the worst in the league. So I think Schroeder is in an awesome opportunity here, especially after being rested last night. So I expect him to go off here, and if he doesn't, hey, you know what? That's 2 days in a row he has killed me. For me to go right back to him even after he sat last night, it shows a lot. But it shows either I'm gonna really be twice as upset this weekend, or I'm going to be a happy guy later on today. And as long as he meets value or better, but I'm hoping he just goes off today. I think he's in a good spot. My next stud is coming out of that Milwaukee game. Like I said, I definitely like Mr. Middleton, so I'm going to go with Chris Middleton. That's my second stud for today. He's 8,100. He is playing against Chicago. Chicago, straight down the board, is horrific against shooting guards. 29th in fantasy points allowed, 29th in fantasy points per minute, 24th in rebounds, and in field goals, 17th, which is in the middle of the league. And they're dead last against shooting guards in field goals made as well as in 3-pointers. So Chicago is really, really bad here, but I'm hoping that Middleton is going to just go off for 3 quarters, put up maybe a 50 or a 55 spot in fantasy points, and I'll be more than happy with that. So I would say pencil in Mr. Middleton. Other than Middleton here, shooting guard, there are a couple of decent plays. Mr. Wiggins is in a good spot. I like Andrew Wiggins here against the Knicks. Andrew Wiggins has been a big, he's averaging 29. He's been averaging over 29 and you go back all the way to the 24th of February. He's put over 29 points in most of these games, as you can see here. He only had one 25-pointer, and that was 4 games back. So he's pretty consistent. He's playing the Knicks. New York is another team that's pretty bad at that position of defending the shooting guard. The Knicks are 20. What I have here, the Knicks are actually 29th. 28th in the league against the shooting guard position, defending them. In general. So he's in a good situation. So Middleton, Mr. Wiggins is in a good spot for tonight. I like Mitchell as well tonight against San Antonio. He actually put up 48.9 fantasy points his last meeting against San Antonio. He's had 3 of his last 4 games where he's put up 46 points or better. Valley plays here. Ellington for Miami. Mr. Ellington is in a good spot too, playing against OKC. OKC is 27th, versus the shooting guard. And he actually has had 2 decent games against OKC, 24 and 23, and with 27 minutes apiece not so long ago. So he's in a good spot. I think he's in play. Who else I see here? I think that's about it in the shooting guard. Yeah. They are, Lou Will is, has done well the last few games. Indy is a pretty good defending team, so I'm not too fond of that situation. I think another, matter of fact, guys, I also like Nick Young here. Nick Young for Golden State tonight. Remember I was saying that I like somebody in Golden State other than Steph, and that's my other guy. I like Nick Young and I like Jordan Bell. When I get to the power forwards, I'll mention Jordan Bell, but I do like Nick Young here. He's gonna be able to get some shots. He's to me, he's just in a good spot, man. I really think that Nick Young is in play today too as a value play. He's only 5K, gonna give you 25, and he's I think he's been up and down, but he's capable of it. It says here he's averaging 10, but you see he put a 34 spot, so he has some upside. He's capable of putting in the 30s. I think tonight is a good play, possibly for him if you're looking for value, simply because of everybody else that's hurt for Golden State. And I think that's pretty much it. Small forward, My next stud is coming from the small forward position, and it's Mr. Josh Jackson playing against Cleveland. Cleveland is another team that really struggles against small forwards. They're 30th. They're dead last in fantasy points allowed to small forwards, 27th in fantasy points per minute, 28th in rebounds, 29th in field goals made. And Mr. Jackson does everything. He slashes, he shoots, he hits the three, he goes for threes, he drives, he gets rebounds, he passes the ball. He pretty much does a little bit of everything. 29th in field goals made, and Cleveland is 30th, dead last in the small forward position, giving up threes. So I mean, this game is going to be, granted, chances are Cleveland is more than likely going to blow out Phoenix, but I'm still taking a shot here at Jackson. I really like his game. He's really been playing well. I think he has a shot here. Yet, 7,100 is kind of steep, but I think he could get 35 here or better against Cleveland. And as long as the game stays fairly close for at least 3/4, I think he'll do that. And even if they start getting blown out a little bit, I still think that he's going to get his minutes. He's going to have some floor time, because they really don't have too many other guys, unless they just want to really give up on the game and just have him rest. But him being such a young player, I don't see that happening. So I mean, I like Josh Jackson here. Small forward wise, you got Jason Tatum. He's in a good spot. Prince, he had a dud game last night. He may be able to rebound here. Obviously, LeBron James is the top guy here, 13,100. I mean, he's been a monster. He's been putting up over 70 points, I think, his last 5 or 6 games. I can see that happening again today, but if he does that, this game is going to be definitely blown out. So I mean, I'm not on LeBron on 13,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay up for him in a game that could be a possible blowout. So I don't know if he'll reach the 70 or the 60 that you need. Any low plays here? Josh Richardson, I think he's a good spot. Josh Richardson, OKC is 27th against small forwards, so I mean, he has a shot there to put up some points. I would consider Bajeklia here as well. You can, consider Carroll at 5,500 against Toronto. Mr. Chandler, Angles has been, pretty effective. It's still, when you play San Antonio, you just don't know either. Utah is a better team than San Antonio, at least in my opinion. I think Joe is going to have a good game here as well. So he's an option here. He's definitely in play. I don't see anybody else that catches my eye. I mean, obviously, Corey Brewer has come through several times for OKC this year. He brings a whole lot of energy to the team. But I don't know. OKC is going to have a tough go tonight against Miami. So I am not too sure there on how that game is going to unfold. I think also a good value play here will be Mr. Iguodala. Andre Iguodala again, Golden State again at home. Andre, good spot here too. He's going to get some action. He's probably going to start. If he starts, he definitely is going to get 25 minutes, maybe even get 30 minutes tonight against Atlanta. If the game stays relatively close or respectable, he's going to probably get 25-30 without no KD. I can see him getting that amount of time, and he's actually been playing pretty well. Let's take a look at him real quick here. He's been getting quite a bit of minutes, 30, 27, 24. As you can see, he put a 27 spot in the last game. I can see him being a good play here tonight as well. So it's an option there for you guys. We go to power forward. My next stud is going to be coming out of the power forward position. It's another Milwaukee Buck. I like Mr. Jabari Parker here. He's getting the minutes. Jabari is at a point now where he's, I think, playing almost 30 minutes. Yes, he is, 25 and 30. Look at those numbers, 23, 22, 28, 37. He's at 21 for the year, but he's putting 1, 2, 3. He's had 4, 5 games out of his last 6. He has reached his average or better, and he's just, overall right now he's in a good spot. Not only that, he's playing against Chicago. Chicago against power forwards are 21st in fantasy points allowed, 21st in fantasy points per minute. They're 10th in rebounds, so they're actually pretty decent there. But they're 25th in the league against field goals made by power forwards, and 23rd against three-pointers, and 19th against assists. So, I mean, Jabari's in a good spot there simply on that. But the most important thing about Parker's play tonight is the fact is that Giannis is off the court. With Giannis out, you're going to need to have somebody come in and be able to take in some minutes and take some shots. And that's where Middleton and Bledsoe are going to probably take the bulk. But I think Mr. Parker is going to have even a better chance. And not only that, if this game ends up start slipping away a little bit, he may still get his 25. He may get still his 30 minutes here, and maybe even a little bit more. If Chicago could, play well enough to hang in this game long enough, then Mr. Parker will get surely 30 minutes or better. He's definitely a good play tonight, simply because of the defense that Chicago has against the power forwards. At least in my opinion, I try to look at those numbers, and when I see those kind of numbers, I always feel that those are the best plays. So here, this will be an excellent play tonight if you're definitely interested in someone who's in the mid tier as far as price, 5,700. If you could get 30 minutes out of Jabari and you can get 30 fantasy points, I mean, you'll be happy. I think he's going to do that. I think he could probably put in more than that if he gets his 30 minutes. I think he's an excellent play. My fifth stud is going to be coming out of the center position, and that is Mr. Towns. He's actually the top guy here. Mr. Towns is playing against the Knicks, and man, the Knicks are pretty bad up front. Other than they really got a battler in Inez Kanter, and he's actually one of the guys I'm looking at as a value play at center. But Towns 26. The Knicks are 26 against fantasy points allowed against centers, 27th in fantasy points per minute, 18th against rebounds, 25th in field goals made, 20th in assists, and 22nd against three-pointers. And as we all know, Towns can do a little bit of everything. But up close, under the boards, especially rebounding, all that. I mean, I just don't see anybody being able to stop Mr. Towns today from the New York Knicks. And I happen to be a Knicks fan because I live in New York. But Towns is just he's just going to dominate tonight. Other than Kanter's going to give him a rough go. Kanter's going to get his buck because we all know Carl Anthony is not a good defender as a center too. So I think Kanter's going to get his bulk of time as well, and they're going to need him. So he's definitely one of the centers in play for me tonight on some of my lineups. Mr. Inez Kanter, 6,400, playing at home against the Timberwolves. I think he's had a couple good outings against the Timberwolves as well. So I mean, let me see if I have that stat real quick here. Kanter. He's had 6 out of his last 7 games against Minnesota. He has hit value. So I mean, he's averaging 30 fantasy points during the course of this year. So I really think he's going to get 30 or more himself. I just think that Towns is just going to have a better game. That's why I'm basing myself on Towns, simply on the statistical factors that New York is not going to be able to stop him. Jokic is always in play, as you know. I really like Nikola Jokic. Gobert, good spot against San Antonio, against Pau Gasol and those guys. I think DeAndre Jordan is in play. This is another guy that's in play also. It's just a matter of minutes. Against Brooklyn, he's going to get Brooklyn. Giannis Valanciunas is in a very, very good position here today. Valanciunas facing Brooklyn, who's 29th in the league defending the center. He's actually had 46-40 in his last 2 games against Brooklyn. So he's put up 46 fantasy points and 40 in his last 2 outings, and that's on minimal minutes. If he could get 25-30 minutes, I mean, he could put up 50 against Brooklyn today. But the only problem here is that it's what scares me about this is just the blowout situation. That's the whole problem. I mean, if Toronto gets off and they get they could by halftime this game could be 15-20 points. Brooklyn could be behind, and then you don't got Valanciunas playing a lot of minutes after that. They'll save him for playoff time. So that's the only drawback. I think the best bet here is that I think Minnesota and New York being at home, they may battle and they keep this game a little close. I think that's the reason why Towns is going to have the better game today, even though he is the top center on the slate. But those are the guys I would say. If I'm looking at anybody here, on the lower half, I would say Detman or Kanter, but I like Kanter better. And then on the higher, I would say Towns. You could go with Jokic or Jordan instead of Rudy. And I would say Valanciunas is a good play. Maybe even Miles Turner, even Steven Adams. He's in a good situation. The other thing is Miami is tough everywhere, even though. But with Adams in there, being a physical center and very, very aggressive, with no Whiteside there, he definitely has an advantage there today. So I would consider him as well. So I mean, but that's basically it, guys. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to I gave you a little bit of insight here as I get better at this. As far as sharing my how to go about sharing the stuff with you guys. It will, it'll probably be better for you guys. But I hope that the little insight that I give you up to this point in time is good. Major League Baseball is coming. I know a lot more about that as well. I feel more comfortable there. But I mean, again, I appreciate you guys listening to me. I appreciate you guys for watching, for those who do. And I will definitely appreciate a like. And hopefully you guys will be willing to subscribe and keep following me. Major League Baseball is around the corner. I plan to have a website, and I plan to have a package for that. And it's going to be an exciting year with that. And then of course, I just got to get a little more comfortable with speaking to a microphone here at my house in my home office and discussing basketball and baseball coming up, and of course the NFL, which is my other love. But coming back in September. But hopefully everybody have a good day. These are the stud 5 that I see. These are the 5 best plays I see that I'm going to be utilizing today. I did give you a couple of other possible picks there that you can actually set up your lineups with. And good luck tonight, and hopefully nobody at the last moment sits out in any of these games. And let's make some money. All right, I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.